Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Sweet Spot. This is your host, Ryan Embry, a part of our Sweet Spot 2025 Summer Road Trip Series. We are right here in our backyard in Orlando at the Homewood Suites by Hilton Orlando, nearest to Universal Studios. Like I said, right in our backyard, down the road out of our TMG headquarters, here with Rick and Carlos, who have been both here at this amazing property. We're going to talk all about it. Now, Rick, we have met up with you earlier this year in March.
We have.
Yeah. The one thing we haven't done is done a proper, hospitality journey. We love a good story in hospitality, right? All of our humble beginnings where we might have started at the front desk, bellman for myself. Give us a little bit of background in our audience, a background into your hospitality.
You got it, Ryan, with pleasure. And it's a fun journey, right, mate? So like you, I started at the front desk at the Kalamazoo Residence Inn right after graduating from college. And I walked into the hotel and I said, I've graduated from college. I think I should be the GM of a hospitality hotel. And the GM said to me, do you know anything about the business? I said, nothing. So he became my mentor in the business. So I started at the front desk and worked my way up through the ranks at Marriott. Spent 10 years with Marriott, and I've been with Hilton now for 27 years. And been a GM on property, director of sales on property, but I worked all the disciplines. And it's just been an incredible journey to finally end up leading a brand like Homewood Suites over the course of the last 5 years, which has been, certainly a career highlight for me. So a fun journey to get me here today, sure.
But yet a familiar one that we hear all the time. A lot of college students, maybe just taking here a summer job, end up falling in love with the industry. But another piece of your story that we're hearing so often is mentors. And I want to highlight that is because there's so many hospitality professionals out there mentoring the next generation of hospitality professionals. It's so important in our industry right now. And Carlos, you have a background here in this area, this campus. Yes. Of hotels. Give us your hospitality journey.
Well, actually, funny story. When my parents first came to America, they actually started working at a Homewood Suites.
Oh, okay.
My mom was a housekeeper, my dad was a houseman, and I was 11. So during summer break, they would take me with them to work sometimes, and so I grew up in a Homewood Suites during my summer break.
This is where you needed to be.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
In full circle. But officially, my career started, I was a breakfast attendant at a small hotel down I Drive. And then the opportunity came out to be a night auditor. So I went for it. And now, lo and behold, here I am. I went through 4 different Hilton brands. I've gone through Hampton, Hilton Garden Inn, Home 2, and now I'm here back at the Homewood. So it's been a fun journey. And
no, we're glad to have you, mate. One of the best in the business right here for sure.
Well, it's incredible. We always say sometimes hospitality runs in the blood, runs in your DNA sometimes. And you grew up here. You had family members that worked at this specific brand. It's an incredible story again. So, Carlos, let's talk about your incredible property. What makes it special? Obviously, a huge renovation. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes this hotel special, I think, is the staff. So we have staff that's been here for, many, many years. You guys have met some of them. Yep. They've been here almost since the hotel opened originally. The other thing is we have such a diverse staff too. I have people from in housekeeping that are from Haiti and Jamaica, and then at the front desk I have people from Colombia. My food and beverage supervisor is from Morocco. My AGM is British. One of our DOS is Puerto Rican, and I'm Venezuelan. So being in an international tourist hotspot like Orlando, I think that really helps get to know, when guests arrive, we kind of know what they're feeling, and it kind of helps us create that sense of welcoming, As far as renovation, it was definitely, there were some growing pains, for sure. But
like any renovation.
Yeah. But the end result was worth it. It was 7 hard months of renovation, but the end result, we have a beautiful property now. We get nothing but good comments on the modern touches of the rooms and the lodge area. So, it's really, really something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. Had the opportunity to open space, all of the modern touches like you talked about. A lot of the things, to be honest with you, the upgrades that I saw when giving the property tour, I recognized based on our conversations, Rick.
At Hunter, that's correct, yeah.
So talk about how this renovation really speaks to that vision that you had for the brand.
Well, and this Ryan is a perfect example. A 22-year-old property opened in 2003, runs incredible numbers. So you can imagine the volume of guests that come through an asset like this. So at 22 years young, this product needed a full, complete renovation. We launched a new prototype in 2021, and to be able to bridge a 22-year-old Homewood Suites with a prototype, the new 10.0 prototype, has been amazing. So it starts with the suites. When you look at the suites, whether it be the color palette, the productivity tables, the accentuation of lighting, natural light, all of those things have been accentuated here at the property. And then if you go through the public space is absolutely beautiful. What used to be dark cabinets are now bright and light and lively. Natural light flows through the whole property, from the entrance to the breakfast area to the kitchens, the outdoor kitchens, to the swimming pool. So it's just a beautiful example of how you take a 22-year-old asset and literally bridge the gap between the new prototype. This is a perfect example, and thanks to the team at Buffalo Lodging and Carlos for giving us such a fantastic product. It's beautiful.
Well, it's incredible because obviously the average night stay is going to be a little bit longer at a Homewood Suites, and just based on the trends of people working from home, working remotely, you need those open spaces now. You need those spaces where people want to have the flexibility to say, hey, I'm going to go work for a couple hours in the lobby.
Absolutely.
After, making my own breakfast taco, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Well, I hope so.
Right?
Yeah, right. I eat too many of them.
Yeah. And then come back to, a very spacious room where, again, you can enjoy your time, whether you're here professionally or here leisure. Obviously, we're going to talk about the location here in a minute. But ton of feedback coming from here, and especially in a unique location like this in Orlando, where you probably see visitors from not just nationally, internationally, but to be able to see the review and feedback, I'm sure that goes a lot into what you and your team are talking about, of how you can improve and enhance the guest experience, but it also speaks to what you and your team here are doing, Carlos. So let's talk about this location. We're locals. We're right up the road in Maitland. But for those maybe listening or watching this podcast that aren't familiar, you've got an incredible location. You were talking to me about something you might be able to see on the 5th floor there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, if you're coming to Orlando, I can't think of a better place to stay.
Sure.
Right, and I'm not being, bipartisan. I mean, partial on that, but we're 5 minutes away from Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay. I mean, literally on the 5th floor, you can see Harry Potter's castle right off the window. And we're 5 minutes away from the new park, from Epic Universe. So we have tons of restaurants on the I-Drive corridor. We're right off of I-4, so if you're planning on going to the beaches or towards Disney World, we're right there. I mean, honestly, this place is very, very, very good location in terms of...
It's amazing. We were walking up and I could smell the sunscreen on everyone getting ready for a long day at Universal or some of the other theme parks now. And this is an official Universal partner property. Explain what that means and the benefit value that adds to the guest experience.
Yeah, for sure. So with being a Universal partner hotel, we have a on-site concierge every morning. He is able to sell tickets, print tickets, give you advice and recommendation on what to do in the park. We also offer complimentary transportation to and from Universal Studios, and now they added Epic Universe as well to the bus route. So definitely a lot of perks with being a partner hotel.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really seamless. I think that's what we're trying to. Hospitality is really embracing that personalization, seamless, ease of transition. I mean, listen, it's getting into a hub like Orlando is going to be tough enough. You want to get to the property and just want to feel like everything's right there at your fingertips.
Well, I think what Carlos and team have done a really good job. When you align yourself with, for example, a Disney park, the expectations of the guests are high, because usually it's a leisure guest. They're paying for the vacation themselves, so the expectations are high. And what Carlos has done, I think, in partnership with being a preferred property, is that the expectation starts at the property. It doesn't start at the park. When you arrive here, you expect the same level of perfection that you would get from going to a Disney park. It's amazing to me how you've managed to execute that as a partner, but in a hotel that has such tremendous volume, because Carlos is a humble guy, but when you think in terms of the stay score satisfaction ratings of this hotel, it's one of the top of the brand. So it's amazing what they've managed to replicate here in respects to on not only physical product, but also service. I mean, it's amazing. It's a truly a fantastic story.
It's a great point, because Orlando is unique in the sense of, you might save years for one trip to come to
Absolutely.
Disney, to come to Universal Studios. You're right. The stakes are much higher when you get here. And to have that, I've seen the feedback too, Carlos, like to have the property mentioned as a part of that experience as a whole. It's a very, very special thing. And that's the essence of hospitality there.
It's fantastic. It's just compliments to Carlos.
Rick, let's talk about, this market. And I think really a lot of markets that the Homewood Suites brands are in, it's ultra competitive, right? I mean, you can throw a baseball and probably hit about 5 hotels from here, but yet guests continually choose this specific brand, and in Orlando, this specific property. What's the draw here? Why do people continue to choose it?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ryan. So I would say the reason it's so appealing as a product to the consumer, you mentioned it earlier, space. You bring a family into Orlando, whether you're on business or on leisure, space is a precious commodity. So when you walk into a suite, at Homewood Suites, for example, you've got a separate kitchen with everything that you need to prepare a meal if you want to prepare a meal, but to reheat a meal if you want to reheat a meal, or just to put a pizza in and a 6-pack of Coke in the refrigerator. You've got a phenomenal living room which gives you separation from not only the kitchen, but an area that you can kind of relax at the end of a busy day, and then you've got a separate bedroom. So I think space is a primary benefit to the product. But then I'd also say the amenities that we've got. If you think in terms of the food and beverage ecosystem, which we'll get a little bit into, I suppose, is you've got everything you need. So whether it's you want to cook in your room, you've got a phenomenal breakfast that we provide you in the morning. We've got a Welcome Home Wednesday reception where we get to meet and greet our guests who are staying for a long period of time. We've got an outdoor kitchen. We've got a partnership with Grubhub. So anything that you need as it relates to a food and beverage ecosystem is taken care of. So it's kind of your home away from home. And we use that, all the time. But it kind of is. It's like it's everything you need to continue the rituals of life, whether you're in Orlando for leisure, whether you're in Orlando for business. Because ordinarily, people stay just a little bit longer with a Homewood Suites. It's 5 or 6 or 7 nights. This product provides you with the space and atmosphere and energy you need to stay and relax and enjoy for 5, 6, 7 nights. It's a beautiful product.
It is. It's incredible, and I want to dive into that food and beverage experience, because you're right. With something that has your longer than average stay, you don't want to be eating the same thing. You want that variety. You want those options, those choices. Choices specifically, right? You got to build your own taco bar. We were stopped multiple times in our tour, Carlos, from people raving. We even got stopped by a guest that had a Mickey Mouse waffle there that they had made there. So talk to us a little. Talk to us a little bit about, Carlos, the maybe food and beverage experience here and how that variety and guest feedback from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So having that variety when it comes to breakfast, all the toppings that we provide and all the breakfast options. I think you mentioned it. People are staying here 5, 6, 7 nights. They don't want to eat the same things over and over and over again. Us having that gives them that variety, and our food and beverage team works hard to make sure to change things up every time. Every Wednesday during the Welcome Home reception, we have different whether it's the cheese and soups and veggies, and we have pour my beer and wine, and it gives people the opportunity to really, really enjoy not only the food but also that space out there, and spend time with the family, maybe before going to the parks, kind of huddling up before the parks, getting a game plan for the day, or just coming back after the parks on Wednesdays and chilling out for a little bit, talk about.
Hey, listen, we know I'm a family of 4. If we can have a nice breakfast here at the Homewood Suites before going out to, you need that energy in the morning. We also know how much that costs sometimes, and to have that here, provided as a part of the experience, that goes a long way. Even that Wednesday, you can guarantee I got a 2 and a 4-year-old. If we're hitting those parks, I'm going to need a cold one after
Absolutely
after a long
right.
day.
Absolutely right. And something Carlos has done a phenomenal job of also is you can provide a great physically renovated product. So the environment in which you're having breakfast is beautiful. You can provide a great breakfast product. So whether it be the make your own taco bar, whether it be the overnight oats, whether it be the chia pudding, if you're on a healthy, restricted diet sort of thing, there's something that appeals to everybody. But I think what Carlos has really tapped into here is the ability not only to serve a breakfast, but host a breakfast. And there's a difference in hosting a breakfast than serving a breakfast. And I think he does the same on Wednesday night, because the scores would indicate he does, is he hosts the event. So it's not, please come on down and enjoy. It's please come on down, engage with us, tell us your stories, let us learn a little bit about you, so that while you're here for 5 or 6 or 7 nights, you become part of the family. And these guys are humble, but they do a really good job of it, mate. I mean, you do an awesome job, brother.
Thank you.
What's that old GM trick we heard, right? You ever want to know what guests are really saying about your property? Come to the lobby during breakfast. Listen to those conversations. I mean, we ran into a couple guests checking out after months here.
Absolutely, been here since January.
Incredible.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Raving about it and miserable they had to leave.
Yes, yeah.
Which I would be too, right? I mean, who's going to serve me breakfast? Who's going to clean my room? I mean, I don't want to leave. Why would you want to leave a Homewood Suites?
Well, and that's just one of the many examples. Like I was mentioning, the reviews, the guest feedback speaks for itself. You're ranked near the top of this highly competitive Orlando market. Carlos, congratulations. How do you leverage an online reputation like this? And what does it mean to you to get this much guest feedback?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having over 2,000 reviews on TripAdvisor we're definitely giving people something to talk about, and it's good that it's positive reviews, that really speaks about the efforts and it's good. It helps for me to show it to our staff and see that their efforts are coming through, and where it's not all in vain, right? So and obviously that drives bookings. People go on TripAdvisor, they see, oh, this hotel has nothing but good reviews. Why wouldn't I choose that hotel? On top of everything else that Hilton or the Homewood Suites brands offers. I mean, like you said, it might be just a building without us. So I think the service culture is strong, and it's what drives those reviews and those bookings. So we're really, really, really proud of all that.
Well, the sense of entry, Ryan, I've always said that as a brand leader, when I walk into a hotel, when those doors open, you can tell instantaneously whether it's an engaged team or not. And the experience of walking in here this morning, it's an engaged team, mate. I mean, they're just alive and ready to go. And this is on the tail end of a breakfast where they've probably served, 800 people?
Probably, yeah.
So to have the energy and charisma to continue the hospitality and the hosting nature of breakfast is it's just a compliment to the leadership team here. And again, to Ron Kendall and his team at Buffalo, they're a great group.
It's absolutely incredible. And, sending all these people out, like I said, to the parks, with
happy,
a full stomach. Yeah, a lot of energy. A big piece of getting them through their day, which is really cool. Rick, how do you, we talked about feedback on Carlos' side. Obviously, that's so important from the guest perspective. Obviously, weigh that with some of the vision and brand vision. But you also have to balance the owner feedback that you're hearing. How do you balance those two things and make sure that when you make a change, when you make a new prototype, you do a renovation to a property, it matches and is mutually beneficial?
Yeah, Ryan, it's a great question. We do the creation of the prototype, and I think we hinted at it during our conversation at Hunter, was done in partnership with 5 owners. So we invited 5 owners to the party to say, hey, listen, we've got a beautiful brand that's 30 years old. If we were to create a new prototype, how would we do that? And these owners were in partnership, lockstep, shoulder to shoulder with us as we created the new prototype. What they were avid about was the brand's been successful for 30 years. Let us not depart from the pillars that made it successful. Now, we can modernize the pillars, which we have, but the pillars have stayed the same. So think in terms of a full suite, a complimentary breakfast, the outdoor kitchen, the phenomenal activity in the yard, things along those lines. So we stayed true to the brand. And then any changes that we make, for example, you mentioned breakfast, that was a big change for us. We elevated the breakfast with the taco experience. Everything was vetted through owners. So we have a very, very lively owner advisory council that we'll do calls with every quarter. And what we bring to our owner advisory council is not solutions, we bring opportunities. And they become part of the solution of opportunities that we bring to the table. So they keep us within our guardrails of, okay, is it going to be phenomenal for the operator of the business? Is it going to be phenomenal for the consumer? But also from a profitability standpoint, from an ownership perspective, is it going to net what it needs to net? And if you can complete those three buckets, I think you're in the right journey. So our owners are very vocal. I encourage it as a brand leader. And they've kind of, while I have been, I guess, the spokesperson of the brand, there's a lot of people behind me that have helped me get the brand to where it is today, our owners being one of them.
And that's so key, Rick. And I think, something we preach on this podcast all the time about embracing feedback.
Absolutely.
The one thing it should be very scary to hotel, operators, owners, is silence, right? You
Absolutely
don't hear
right.
anything. Even those negative experiences are opportunities, like you said, to improve, enhance. And this prototype, this renovation, Carlos, just speaks exactly to that, of listening to not only the guests, the owners, and making sure it's a win-win for everyone. Carlos, we're here in the busy season. Obviously, summer, kids are out of school. Talk to us about what you're preparing for. We've obviously got a big a new announcement in the Orlando area about a new theme park. What are you looking forward to this summer? What do guests have to look forward to this summer?
Yeah, I mean, summers in Orlando are hot. You're waiting in line. You're doing all over. So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes in the operations of the hotel. We try to stay proactive, make sure that everything is guest ready. Buffalo Lodging has done a great job at prepping us as managers to ensure that the hotel is guest ready. By 8 a.m. by 6 a.m. when guests start coming down for breakfast. So, I make sure that the team is trained. I make sure that everything is working properly for our guests. The last thing they want is to come here and not get some of the amenities they were promised. And yeah, I mean, the Orlando area is booming. This new theme park is just going to drive so much business over our way. And we're just proactive, patient, positive. I think I mentioned that during one of our brand calls, is the importance of being positive out there, as leaders, because as you guys know, in the hotel world, things don't always go according to plan, so you have to be prepared for worst case scenarios and show the staff that, hey, it's okay. We're going to get through this, and it's business as usual, and, let's move on.
And the good news is we saw a little bit of a bounce back from the international traveler like that we were talking about, hearing about that. We were just at NYU last week covering that, hearing some good news about it's going to be a very busy summer season. Booking window has kind of shortened, but it seems like everything is still looking as a positive outlook, which is something we built on in March. I'm wondering, Rick, and as we zoom out a little and kind of wrap this up, being that we have, I think the theme last week was don't believe those big headlines. So, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, but, why is Homewood Suites still a really smart investment in today's climate?
It's a great question, and something I ponder around all the time, right? And I think for us, it was interesting that and I hate to bring it up, but the period of COVID for us was very interesting because the brand did extremely well. And it did extremely well because it's a niche brand that is dedicated to extended stay business. And it served us really well during COVID. If you can think in terms of traveling nurses, medical professionals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they looked at Homewood Suites as a safe haven to stay during one of the worst hospitality periods in our industry. What that taught a lot of people is that it's an evergreen great performer. And it's an evergreen great performer. So when you think in terms of the investment of Homewood Suites, if you want to diversify a portfolio, so let's say you've got a beautiful HGI, you've got a beautiful Hampton, you might have a great Embassy Suites, if you want to diversify a portfolio with a product that will perform regardless of economic environments, Homewood Suites, Home2 Suites are two brands that would do that for you. So I just think it resonates with an owner. It's saved them during COVID. So many of them have told me, if we didn't have a Homewood in our portfolio, where would we be? I'm not quite sure, Rick. So today I think the brand just resonates. And I think as an extended stay segment, I mean, it's kind of the darling of the industry. I fell in love with it 27 years ago. I knew it was the darling of the industry, and I just think there's a lot of folks getting on board with the beauty of an extended stay product, and Homewood being the upscale representation for Hilton, and does extremely well. Very proud of the brand and proud of folks like Carlos who are in the field doing it every day, because they're literally making our vision come true. So it's a beautiful place to be.
It's incredible, and it's part of the brand story. You know, obviously, like you said, we don't like talking about those times, but it happened, and it's one of those things that will show you, and I'm sure we've learned so much from that time period, right? And you know, obviously, have some lessons that we've enhanced the guest experience through. We've learned some things, how guests can adopt technology.
Absolutely.
And how receptive they are to some of these fast changing things, where hospitality really not known for making very fast changes at points. But we had to be flexible and versatile. But it's a great story to see that Homewood was performing so well during that time, and is such a staple and can be a staple in an investment, hospitality investment portfolio.
Without question, right? Without question.
Great. Well, we covered a lot. As we wrap up here, we always like to kind of look into our hospitality crystal ball, look into the future. Carlos, we'll start with you. Any final thoughts about kind of your vision for the property and what's ahead?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you know, we just have to keep churning on. I want us to keep succeeding the way we have. I think we have a beautiful property here. I know we have a beautiful property. And our staff does a great job. You know, I'm just looking forward to more success and more money our way, you know?
Well, you'll get it for sure.
And Rick, what about you?
You know, I'm a rose-colored glasses, glass half full kind of guy. I always have my entire career, that's the way I look at the world. So I don't worry, to your point earlier, Ryan, about the headlines. I think if we are dedicated to this beautiful industry that we're in, this is the hospitality industry. And when I get out in the field, I get out of my office in Memphis and I get out in the field, it's where I get my inspiration. And we have some beautiful people who are leading phenomenal products, not only in the Homewood brand, but across the category and across the enterprise for Hilton. We should applaud them. It's a great career to be in. It's tremendously rewarding, and very proud of where Homewood is, proud of the enterprise, proud of the category, and it's a great business.
Yeah, and it is. Travel is, in hospitality, one of, if not the best, one of the best industries to be a part of. And you know, I'd challenge our hotelier listeners. You know, something we heard that resonated with me last week when we were covering that is, if there is that uncertainty, if you're a little nervous, getting back down to the fundamentals, you know, something that you've been doing over here with your team, Carlos, of serving the guests, and I guarantee it, if you do that at a high volume and at a high rate, you're going to see it, and you're going to weather these potential storms. Absolutely. If they ever come to fruition.
Absolutely.
So, Carlos, thank you for hosting the Sweet Spot here. Like I said, in our backyard. Rick, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Well, I challenged you at Hunter. I said, I'll see you down in Orlando. So thank you for making this come true for me. It's an honor to be on your podcast. So cheers to you for making it happen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carlos. And thank you to our listeners. We'll talk to you next time on the Sweet Spot.